Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Niken Baby Benarosa, and today I will present about social discourse aspect of interlanguage. So, what is social identity? According to Bonnie Pierce, social identity is multiple and contradictory, which means when learners are able to sum up or construct an identity that enables them to impose their right to be here and thus becomes the subject of the discourse. There are Howard Gills and Bonnie Pierce theory. Accommodation theory by Howard Gills is explained how a learner's social group influence the course of second language acquisition. The key idea of this theory is social accommodation. So the key is social accommodation of how the social of person influence their second language and are the process of accommodation. Theory, the first one is convergence and the second one is divergence. Convergence is when people interact each other, they either try to make their speech similar to that of their addressee in order to emphasize social cohesiveness. Next, divergence. Divergence is when people interact with each other, they either try to make it different in order to emphasize their social distinctiveness. And the next, Bonnie Pierce social theory. Bonnie's social theory of second language acquisition for a different offset of metaphor which involves a struggle and investment. He said successful learners are those who reflect critically on how they engage with a native speaker and who are prepared to challenge the accepted social order by constructing and asserting social identities of their own choice. And next, the categories of speech act. Speech act are categories based on the assumption that from a normative viewpoint, a speech act is characterized by certain norms and certain normative post condition. This means that speech acts are not only viewed based on what is said, but also based on the norms that govern how those utterance should be understood and accepted. The first is normative and normative post condition. Speech acts are marked by certain norms and normative post condition. Normative post condition refers to status and relationship established as a result of the realization of the act. For example, when someone makes a promise, there are norms that dictate that the promise should be kept. And the second is norm and humans thinking. These norms arise from our distinctly human kind of conceptual thinking. These indicate that these norms are not merely biological or instinctual, but are shaped by the thoughts and concepts we possess as human. And the third is norm confirmative disposition. The non-confirmative disposition refers to our tendency or attitude to adhere this norm. This explanation emphasizes that this disposition does not simply arise from a generalization of our tendency to cooperate, which may be acquired through natural selection or our ability to engage in social practice. In other words, our attitude toward this norm is more complex and is not solely based on instinct or social habits. And the next, the role of input and interaction in second language acquisition. The first is mentalist theories. Mentalist theories that argue that learners' brains are specifically equipped to learn language. According to this view, minimal exposure to language input is all that is needed to trigger acquisition. This suggests that process of language learning occurs through a complex interaction between the linguistic environment and the learner's internal mechanism. And then second is learner discourse. If learner discourse can be so to have special properties, it is possible that these properties contribute to acquisition in some way. This implies that the way learners interact and speak in their second language may have an impact on how well they learn. The third is modification of native speaker speech. Native speakers need to modify their speech when communicating with learners. This modification have been investigated through studies on foreign talk, which refers to the way native speakers speak when talking to foreign or language learners. The fourth is the types of foreign talk. The types of foreign talk are identified ungrammatical and grammatical. Ungrammatical foreign talk often implies a lack of respect on the part of the native speaker and can be resent by learners. On the other hand, grammatical foreign talk may still manifest the same interlanguage errors as those experienced by learners who encounter ungrammatical foreign talk. And next, uh, there are the example of baseline and foreign talk. And the last is the role of output in second language acquisition. Stephen Kresen argued that speaking as a output is a result of language acquisition rather than a cause. This means that learners first acquire the language internally before they can produce it verbally. On the other hand, Mary Sway content that output, particularly when it is understandable, also plays a role in the acquisition of a second language. This suggests that producing a language can contribute to the learning process rather than just being a byproduct of it. And the next states that the role of output helps student day hypothesis. This means that when learners produce language, they can experiment with their understanding of the language rules and structures, allowing them to see what works and what doesn't. And the last, additionally, students may talk about their own result or discuss how to correct them. This indicates that to output, learners engage in reflection and discussion about their language use, which can further enhance their understanding and acquisition of the language. Next. Okay, I think that's enough from me and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.